Avalanche is a busy studio. The studio had a big E3 and we know that they're working on at least 3 games. Not bad for an independent AAA studio, is it?
Avalanche Studios CEO Pim Holf has been speaking to GamesIndustry.biz recently. Among the more eye-catching bits to come out of the interview was that the Swedish studio, best known for its big open-world titles like Mad Max and Just Cause, has not 1, not 2, not 3, but 6 projects on the go at the moment. We know Avalanche is currently working on Just Cause 4, which was announced at E3, and is working alongside id Software to make the open-world post-apocalyptic shooting and driving fest that is Rage 2. We also know the team has another project, Generation Zero, in the works. All 3 of these games are due for release before the end of next year, with Just Cause 4 scheduled in for release on December the 4th of this year. Here's what Pim Holf told Games Industry. Quote, "Historically, we've been really bad at running multiple projects. We have 6 projects running concurrently right now of different sizes. 4 or 5 years ago, that wouldn't have been possible."
Avalanche opened a new office in Malmo back in May this year, saying it would be working on relatively small, flexible products. Holf told Games Industry that its self-published products like Generation Zero and another game, The Hunter Call of the Wild, will be significantly smaller than your average AAA offering. One might say 30% of a AAA product. It's our ambition with all our self-published games that they will be run as a service. They will grow with free and paid DLC, so it will be up to the player what their experience will be over time. Generation Zero is a post-apocalyptic online shooter that will be built on the company's Apex engine, like all its games. Holf says the engine is solely built to create big, beautiful worlds and fulfills the company's credo of if you see it, you can go there, if you poke it, it reacts. The CEO added, quote, "That needs to be part of all of our games."
The fact Avalanche is working on so many projects out of multiple offices is a big deal, not least because the company has managed to stay pretty much independent despite working in the AAA business. It has over 320 employees, set to grow to over 400, based in Sweden and New York, but is not tied to a big games publisher like many studios tend to be when they reach this size. And that is something that Pim Holf is actually concerned about. Quote, "My biggest worry is that there are so few independent AAA studios around. We're one of the only big ones." But even Avalanche is now no longer truly independent. It recently got a new owner in Nordisk Film, one of the oldest film companies in the world, founded in Copenhagen in 1906.
Nordisk has its fingers in many pies like cinema, TV and books, but only recently moved into video games. It wants to build games as a service, but thinks as a company it's better at deeper experiences over a longer period of time. Here's what Holf said about the acquisition, quote, "What Nordisk Film brought is that it actually made us mature much faster. Even though the company is celebrating 15 years this year, we have the feel of a big garage studio. We like that, we cherish that, but at the same time, we needed more structure to grow the business. Games are still the core, we will stay true to that, but the business is a support function."
So it is definitely true that they are somewhere managing this kind of independent thing whilst being a AAA studio with loads of staff. They're just not tied to EA, Activision, Ubisoft, nothing like that. They're just their own studio. Now this deal with this film company is kind of, they're still quite separate from it. It's like a weird investment deal or something, but the film company is involved. You can see that in the games as a service thing already because because Avalanche are making these smaller projects that are set out to be games as a service. But largely speaking, they're allowed to do their own thing and they're still kind of, an independent games developer, and they don't have to hit out an Assassin's Creed every year or whatever. They don't have to do that kind of thing. And it's quite amazing that they've managed to do that and that they're working on 6 projects at the same time.
That's a very big undertaking. Like EA, I don't think are working on 6 games. Maybe they are, but they're the big guys, right? These guys have got a bit more of a freelance approach. They'll work on AAA games and then they'll go and look for selling each product to a publisher. But the publishers then won't have the rights to demand a game every year, like you were just saying. So it's a pretty good way of working. That's why I guess they've got 6 products, because then they can put them off to the highest bidder, or maybe Bandai Namco want to pick up one, or EA want to pick up another, or whatever. Nordisk Film being a film production house and going into games is something that I was expecting to see more of as time goes on and things are getting more narrative and cinematic. Yeah, a film company working with a video game company having a video game division. Essentially, that's what this kind of is.
Basically what it is, yeah. And what it means is that it's not the kind of they don't come with the games industry hang-ups, and they're already saying like we want games as a service, but we don't want to make like Candy Crush. We don't want to make that kind of game. We're not interested in that kind of video game. We want like deep experiences, but we want to and they already sound like they've got some ideas, like they've got some, you know, and Avalanche are a big, like, they're open world specialists. They've got this engine which they can use basically everything for, and then Generation Zero being a 30% the size of a AAA game is interesting because it did look like lower budget based on the trailer.
Sounds
and stuff,
like it could like be multiplayer focused or something.
Yeah, exactly. But it's, you know, it's definitely a company to be keeping an eye on because they're really busy. Like Rage and Just Cause 4, Generation Zero, they're three of the big ones that we know about, and then this one about the Hunt or whatever, that's the fourth one. So there's two other projects as well. So they're really busy. They're independent, and their games are coming out in the next 2 years. So this isn't like miles off in the future either. So it's cool to see. It's cool to see a big company managing to still stay pretty much independent.
So we knew Avalanche were busy, but that busy? Why don't you let us know what you think of that in the comment section below. Why don't you like the video if you enjoyed it? Subscribe if you're new around here. There's more content on the screen right there if you want to go and check out some more of our stuff. There's also a link to our Patreon if you want to support the channel. Until then, we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.